and you know what that means. It is the season finale of Strictly Sports. Hello, friends, and welcome to the season finale of Strictly Sports. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into this tonight. First story tonight, Henrik Lundqvist announces his retirement, ending his 15-year NHL career. Saying it's time and in need of another heart procedure, goaltender Henrik Lundqvist has announced his retirement, ending a legendary 15-year NHL career. Lundqvist wrote in a statement on Twitter last Friday, "For the last 30 years, I have devoted my life to the game of hockey, and now it's time to walk away from the game I love and begin a new chapter. The future excites me. I've met so many amazing people over the years that will help to guide and inspire me in my new journey." Lundqvist was the face of the New York Rangers and one of the most popular athletes in New York City. For over a decade, the team announced, for over a decade, he was the most popular athlete in New York City, one of. The team announced that it will retire Lundqvist's number 30 jersey with a ceremony set during the 2021-22 season. The team, the New York Rangers, they said in a statement, "It is with mixed emotions that the New York Rangers offer our best wishes and heartfelt gratitude to Henrik Lundqvist on the announcement of his retirement. Henrik's commitment to excellence made him one of the best goaltenders to ever play the game of hockey, and we are so fortunate to have witnessed his greatness firsthand for 15 years. Henrik is and always will be a Ranger." With the Rangers, Lundqvist was a 5-time All-Star and won the Vezina Trophy as the league's top goalie in 2011-2012. After his run with the Rangers, Lundqvist signed a 1-year deal with the Washington Capitals for 2020-21, but never played for the team after undergoing open heart surgery in January. Lundqvist told the New York Post that he had planned to play in the NHL in 2021-22, but would suffer chest pain with too much exertion during workouts. He told the Post, "I was hoping I would be 100% by this time, but I was told that inflammation takes a long time to correct, and with medication, I might be out of the woods, but it could be another full year before I would be 100%. I came to the conclusion that there are too many unknowns and too much risk for not enough reward for me to keep playing." Lundqvist also told the Goldbergs Post newspaper that he needs another heart procedure. "We will see how extensive it will be," he said. "Treatments are getting better, so we will see if they'll open up the chest or not, but that will be a problem for the future." Lundqvist retires with a record of .459, .310, and .96 in 887 NHL career games, with a save percentage of .918, a 2.43 goals against average, and 64 shutouts. He is the New York Rangers franchise leader in all those categories. "Thank you at NY Rangers and New York City," Lundqvist wrote. "I'm a born Swede, but I'll always feel like a New Yorker thanks to you. Thank you at NHL. This league was everything I dreamed of and more. Lastly, thank you to the game of hockey and its fans. You gave my life purpose, and I have loved every single minute of it." Lundqvist ranks 6th in NHL history in wins, 7th in saves, 23,509, 8th in games played, 887, 9th in starts, 871, 9th in time on ice, 51,816 minutes and 51 seconds, and 17th in shutouts, according to the NHL. He played in 130 postseason games, but never lifted the Stanley Cup, coming closest in 2014 when the New York Rangers lost in the Stanley Cup final to the Los Angeles Kings in 5 games. He also helped Sweden win the gold medal at the 2006 Winter Olympics in Turin and set an Olympic record for longest shutout streak, 172 minutes and 34 seconds between the 2006 and 2010 games. It is a sad day, and I could go on the record and say he will forever be the best player to never win a Stanley Cup. It's a damn shame he never got to experience the thrill of winning a Stanley Cup. And MF and I should know, because those Ranger teams in the early 2010s, I could think of at least 3 Ranger teams during that decade that had a very realistic chance of winning the Stanley Cup. The 2011-2012 team, absolutely. Of course, the team that made that magical run to the finals in 13-14, and the last really good team we had, the 2014-15 Rangers, before they lost to Tampa Bay in the conference final. And But whatever the case may be, I referred to him as the best in the world, and there were and many of times he played just like that, the best in the world. And as a New York Ranger fan, it was a thrill for me to see this guy play goalie. He was one of the best goalies. You can make an argument he may be the greatest Ranger goaltender of all time, even though the argument could be made for Mike Richter. But still, for all the blessings that he brought to the Ranger franchise, made the team so fun to watch, and we had a lot of seasons in the sun with him. But unfortunately, we never got over that hurdle, and it's a damn shame that it never happened. He should have had at least one. But then again, like I said, they could have had two. There could have been 2 or 3 winners. But unfortunately, just wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. The old saying goes, always the groomsman, never the groom. And, but I'm glad he's going to take care of himself, and he's not getting any younger. He's 39 years old, and, all good things must come to an end. It's the end of an era. And I know I'm going to sound insensitive when I say this, but I'm glad that he never got to play for the Washington Capitals, because in my heart and in MF's heart and in the heart of our fellow Ranger fans out there, including our good friend Eric Peterson, Henrik Lundqvist, like I said, like I read in all those schematics, Henrik Lundqvist will forever and always be a New York Ranger. So King, I know I normally do this for debts, but I also do this for retirements as well. To Henrik Lundqvist, King, we simply say, thank you for the memories, thank you for the inspiration, and thank you for Henrik Lundqvist. And thank you for all those seasons in the sun. MF and I and our fellow Ranger fans will never, ever forget it. I hope and pray one day we'll get that elusive Stanley Cup, and, we'll wait and see. But not much more to say. I'm going to bring in my fellow New York Ranger fan, good old MF Michael Fletcher. MF, Henrik Lundqvist, no matter what, forever and always will be a New York Ranger.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. When the word got out that Henrik Lundqvist was going to retire, it was a sad day. I think we all were heartbroken. I know when it comes to Henrik, this was one that we were trying to, once we found out that he was going to retire, instantly you start thinking of all the memories, all the moments, all the great successes that he had, winning the gold medal of the World Championships, what he did for us in that Winter Classic against the Flyers, or that game that got us to the Stanley Cup final. His entire career has been astronomical. Many people may even say that he will go down as one of the greatest New York Rangers to ever put the Broadway blue sweater on. And that's one thing that I think it's very honorable and incredible and commendable and respected and loved. And I think that's the one thing that we would greatly appreciate for him. And for me, this man has been the heart and soul of the New York Rangers for a number of years. When he was originally drafted by us, the expectations were very high and nobody really knew, because remember, this was right around the same era of the Richters, and we were still trying to go through, that flurry of Ranger goalies, and I think we can definitely say it without a doubt. He's one of the best. And it kind of feels like, honestly, year in and year out, we were there. We were dangerous. We were sniffing around the cup, and we never got it. And that one magical year where we got to the final, we were thinking maybe this was it. This is our chance. And unfortunately, it wasn't. The heartbreak, the devastation was all written all over Henrik. And I don't think none of us, even New York Ranger fans, could not have been any more devastated than to see what happened that night at Staples when the Kings won the cup in that double overtime. Just the absolute heartbreak that you see. I don't know what there was. I mean, that was, we've had our highs, That was literally the lowest of lows for us. But yeah, you kind of felt like the writing was on the wall, especially a couple of years ago, that Henrik was starting to get more later into his career, and you started to think that it started to settle in that maybe he might not be the Ranger of the future, that it looks like we're looking at two other guys. We were looking at Igor Shestenkin. We were looking at Alexander Georgiev. And then there's another goalie that's in the system right now in the Hartford with the Hartford Wolfpack that looks like a future star for the New York Rangers. So it definitely started to look like are we about to have life without Henrik? And then then the news broke that he was leaving, that we weren't going to renew him, that we were going to that he was going to leave, and that was it. And that devastation started to set in, and it was really a heartbreaking thing to do. And then to hear him go to Washington, we wished him nothing but the best. Then the heart stuff started, and it's undoubtable. It hurts. It's tough. And now, like you said, Henrik is retired, and for everything that he did, like you said, he's a New Yorker, and New York loves him. They embraced him, they honor him, and now he gets the greatest honor of them all. Very soon, his number 30 will forever be in the rafters of the world's most famous arena in Madison Square Garden. Forever. And normally I would never do this, but Anthony knows this. Maybe Mike Bullock knows it. But in honor of the man, it's only fitting that I shine this one time for the whole world to see.
Yes.
God bless you, my man. Congratulations on your retirement. You are one of the greatest to ever play the game. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
I'll tell you that's a real good jersey that you definitely want to hold on to forever there, Fletch. Yeah, I mean, it's a sad day for Ranger fans, but I think the thing is, I mean, look, Henrik Lundqvist, I mean, I'm sure it pains for him that he had to step away from the game he loves, but the thing is, he has to take care of himself. I think we all can agree. I mean, after everything what this guy has been through, I just hope now that it sucks that he never really got the chance to experience what it's like winning a Stanley Cup. No doubt about it. I mean, the closest, like you said, he got was 2014, but fortunately that never, he never got to experience it, and now but he'll definitely go down as one of the top goaltenders in the history of the Rangers after everything he did for them. So, yeah, I definitely wish Henrik Lundqvist the best of luck in his retirement, and most importantly, hopefully you take care of yourself and get healthy. So enjoy retirement, man. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to add to it. So Florio, let's move on.
And before we do, I just want to say this. Big if on this, but if the day ever comes and the New York Rangers actually do win a Stanley Cup, I think it would be only fitting that they gave an honorary ring to Henrik Lundqvist. That's what really should happen. That's just how I feel. So, like I said, I know it's a big if. I know we're not quite there yet because of how loaded that East is, and but you never know. Stranger things have happened. Look what happened 7 years ago. So that's all I can say on that. So, all right, moving on. Well, we went from one sure end of an era to what could be the end of another era from the world of boxing. Last Saturday night was a very big night for the city of Paradise, Nevada, or Las Vegas, Nevada, whatever you want to call it. Not only did we witness the 34th annual WWE SummerSlam at Allegiant Stadium, but right next door at T-Mobile Arena, Manny Pacquiao, a champion in 8 divisions in 4 decades, a superstar the world over. Last Saturday night was supposed to be a celebration, a culmination of all the great Manny Pacquiao has accomplished. But Yordenis Ugas wasn't there for the Pacquiao party, though. Ugas was there for his own arrival, and he made good on his promise to bring all his respect for Pacquiao into the ring. Ugas, who accepted the bout on 11 days' notice, scored a unanimous decision over Pacquiao last Saturday at the T-Mobile Arena to retain his WBA super welterweight title, spoiling the festivities in an upset victory that establishes Ugas as a major player in boxing's best division. All 3 judges scored the fight for Ugas 116-112, 115-113, and 116-112. ESPN had it 116-112 for Ugas, who won as a plus 310 underdog, according to Caesars Sportsbook. Pacquiao was slated to meet Errol Spence, ESPN's number 4 pound-for-pound boxer, in a super fight. Those plans were canceled when it was discovered Spence suffered a detached retina in his left eye just 12 days before the fight. Ugas, a bronze medalist for Cuba in the 2008 Olympics and ESPN's number 6 welterweight, was set to defend his title against Fabian Maidana in the co-feature and did not hesitate to step in to fight Pacquiao when the opportunity of a lifetime presented itself. So that's that's pretty much all the schematics on that. So with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to, once again, good old MF Michael Fletcher, because this is his wheelhouse. This is something that he followed very much so. And MF, could it be the end of another era? First Henrik Lundqvist. Could we be seeing the end of Manny Pacquiao? And also, I'm very curious, how did you score the fight?
115, 113 for Ugas. I had him winning the fight. And what really won it for him, Anthony, was really the total punches. Let's start it off. First off, for Manny Pacquiao, he threw 815 punches, landed 130 total. 475. He threw 475 jabs, landed 42. 88, 340 power shots, and 88 landed for him. Where Ugas won the fight, Anthony, was really more because of his The total punches, that was 405. He had 151. Jabs 234 and landed 50. But here's where he won it. The power shots. Threw 171, landed 101. Almost 60% of his power punches were landing on Manny Pacquiao. He was teeing him off all night. And almost every round that he had, except for maybe 2 rounds, he actually outpunched Manny. In the first round, he landed 16 punches to Manny's 10, 13 to 10, 16 to 10. Manny won the third, 21 to 11, 14 to 12. Ugis, 15 to 12. Manny, 16. And then after this, every round, from round 6 on, Ugis won every round on punches landed. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 all went to Ugis. And that was one of the reasons why. He was active. He looked more polished. He looked more better. And everything that he did in that fight was absolutely flawless. They said he needed it to have the perfect fight to win it. And he basically, in the second half of the fight, had a perfect fight. Like, it was complete, utter domination. Manny just didn't have that punch or that quick step. And everything that Ugis was doing, he was frustrating him. Using the jab, using that reach against Pacquiao, making him shift, not giving him areas where Manny is known that he could pop off 5 punches at a time because he's so lightning quick. You didn't see the quickness on Manny this time around. And that was one of the things. Maybe that was the age coming in, father time. Maybe it's just because of all the wars, the body is starting to wind down a little bit. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, after that fight, and they had the interview with Manny Pacquiao, and to be real honest with you, it sounded like a retirement. It really sounded like Manny might leave. And if he does, it's going to be a damn shame, man. This is going to be one of those devastating losses for all of us because Manny, I've grown up with Manny Pacquiao. There's certain fighters I remember watching in my day, and Manny Pacquiao is one of them. And I mean, if this is the case, if this is it, man, my heart goes out, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to miss him. This guy is without a doubt one of the greatest to ever play the game. And, it's with a lot of respect and a lot of love, and I wish him nothing but the best. If Manny Pacquiao does indeed announce that this is it, that he's hanging him up, there's really nothing more for me to add. I'm going to say that I wish you nothing but the best, my friend, and good luck. Good luck, brother. You will be missed. So there's really nothing more to add. Anthony, this could be a very interesting situation, but, Manny is one of the all-time greats. So there's really nothing more to add. Floyd, what's yours?
Well, MF, keep your mic on because coming up next, here on the season, as we continue on with the season finale of Strictly Sports, a segment that has for the last several weeks has become a very popular staple within this show. There's only going to be a few more installments left because this season is winding down, and that is the Big Three, and we have 4 teams left, and the playoffs, the Big Three playoffs, are going to be are going to go down. The only 4 teams are in there, and there's 2 semifinal matchups, if you will. And they will both be going down this Saturday from the Imperial Arena at the Atlantis Resort in Nassau in the Bahamas. So with that being said, MF, let's set the table for the playoffs.
Semi-final start Saturday, but before we do, we got a little bit of some business to attend to. So here we go. Big three. Week 8, the final week, we were back in Vegas. We were at the Orleans Arena on Saturday. Yes, oddly enough, another 4 games on the docket. And we started off with an upset. Tri-State knocking off the Triplets. Final score was 51-36. That gives Tri-State the ticket into the postseason. They are in. Then the next game that we had, well, this one was basically not really playoff implications, but it was just for mere formality. It was Power knocking off Ball Hogs. Power finishes the season at 4-4. Ball Hogs at 3-5. 50-34 was the final score. Then in the third game, it was the Three-Headed Monsters. They get the ticket into the postseason as well. They get in, knocking off the Ghost Ballers, 51-37. And the final game was the Killer Threes versus Trilogy. Killer Threes wins the game 51-48. However, but for Trilogy, no harm, no foul. They're in. They get into the playoffs. And as it stands, the final records as it stood when all said and done, Tri-State is the number 1 seed going into the semifinals. They will be playing off against Trilogy, who is at 5-3. And then you'll have the reigning and defending champion Triplets. They'll go up against the Three-Headed Monsters. And this, my friend, is a rematch from earlier in the year. Because as a matter of fact, if memory serves me correct, I do believe Three-Headed Monsters was the other than I believe the Three-Headed Monsters was the only other team that actually got that took out. Let me see. Was it Three-Headed Monsters that got them? I'm trying to see. Hold on one second. It was wait. Triplets won there. So it was Triplets won that game. Was it week 5 that it was them? Let's see. Nope. Well, earlier in the year, Three-Headed Monsters and Triplets went at it. Triplets won that game 51-45. So it was a pretty close matchup. And then as far as Tri-State goes, as they're going to go up against Trilogy, this game actually went down definitely earlier in the year. I want to say it was the first week. Was it? No, it wasn't. No, I guess it was. Let's see. Tri-State and Trilogy. I don't see. No, I don't think they faced off against each other. No, this is a first match. This is a first-time matchup. Yeah. Okay, so Tri-State and Trilogy has not faced off against each other. So this is a rematch. So this is a first-time matchup. And as far as Triplets and Three-Headed Monsters, they've already faced off once in the season. Now they're going to face off yet again. And just to give you guys a heads up, both games, the semifinals will be exclusive to CBS. CBS will have the game. First game tipped off at 4. The other one, a little after 5, will be the second game. And then, of course, the week after, back at the Imperial Arena, they'll be battling it out for the Big 3 title. And for the Dr. J trophy. So that's it. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. And the championship game, Saturday, September 4th. And don't worry, even though College Football Thursday is on the horizon, we will set aside a little bit of some time so MF can get those big three recaps out there for you. So anyways, now, gentlemen, let's now get into what is going to be, without a doubt, the main event, a huge double main event, to say the very least. First off, as you know, next Thursday night at this time, we will be presenting the season premiere of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. And you know how we do it. When we preview the college football season, we do it by the Power 5 conferences and Notre Dame. That's how we've always done it. And no particular order here, but we'll do it in alphabetical order here. And we're going to start it off with the ACC. And Michael Bullock, I'm going to start it off with you here. The ACC in college football, there's two divisions, of course. There's the Atlantic Division that features, in no particular order, Syracuse, Louisville, Florida State, Boston College, Wake Forest, NC State, and Clemson. And in the Coastal Division, you have Duke, Georgia Tech, Virginia, Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech, Miami, and North Carolina. So with all that being said, Michael Bullock, let's start it off with you. ACC. What are your thoughts?
Now, do you want me to just say who I think's going to win it overall, or within each division?
Well, since this is the season preview, only the division winners are fine.
All right. I just wanted to be sure on that. So, all right. So
that's how we're going to do it for all the conferences, by the way.
Oh, so that's how we're going to do it for all the conferences. So, who was in the first division that you for the ACC?
In the Atlantic Division, you have Syracuse, Louisville, Florida State, Boston College, Wake Forest, North Carolina State, and Clemson.
All right. Well, all right. For that division, I think it's obvious here. I got to go with Clemson because, I mean, they're the more powerful team here, and I see them basically winning that division.
And as far as the Coastal Division goes, you have Duke, Georgia Tech, Virginia, Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech, Miami of Florida, the Hurricanes, and North Carolina.
Wow, that's a tough one there, but who won that division last year?
I have no idea.
All right, that's yeah. I'm just gonna go with my guess, and I'm gonna go with I'm actually gonna go with North Carolina to win that division.
All right.
So yeah, it's just you just take it from here, Florio.
All right. All right. So you know me, I as the lead commentator and all this, I got all the notes here and everything else. So ACC football has long been dominated by Clemson, a perennial powerhouse of the college gridiron. Others have tried, including a few Louisville teams in the 2010s, but under head coach Dabo Swinney, the Tigers have been the team to beat. 2021 technically represents a transitional period for the 2019 college football champions, losing top players to the NFL. Theoretically, this creates an opening for the other ACC teams, but the Tigers are still loaded, and the other schools are playing catch-up. Does anyone pose a real threat? ACC, 13 other teams playing through this season, and here's how I think it's going to fare out. In the Atlantic Division, of course, it's Clemson. Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne are gone, but Clemson is still the ACC's best of the best and a threat for the college football playoff. Quarterback DJ Uiagalelei steps in as the signal caller with experience on his resume and the chance to work with a skilled supporting cast. The defense is still loaded as well and should stifle everyone in their way. I expect a perfect conference season. So I'm going with Clemson to win the Atlantic Division. I got NC State finishing second, Wake Forest finishing third, Boston College finishing fourth, Florida State fifth, Louisville sixth, and Syracuse last. In the Coastal, it's a two-horse race. It's definitely between Carolina and Miami. But I'm with Bullock. I'm actually going to go with North Carolina to win the Coastal Division. UNC lost a ton of talent to the 2021 NFL Draft, but Heisman hopeful Sam Howell remains at quarterback. If he takes the leap, most think he will. The Tar Heels will hold position atop the Coastal for the season's duration. The defense creates pressure and contains the opponent's passing game well as well. What kind of improvement, if any, arises from this group remains unknown, though along with who emerges for Howell to throw to, it can't be a one-man show, but that one player is quite skilled. So I have North Carolina winning the Coastal, Miami finishing second, Virginia Tech third, Pittsburgh fourth, Virginia fifth, Georgia Tech sixth, and Duke in last. So that's my story when it comes to the ACC. So MF, ACC, who do you like in the Atlantic and the Coastal?
As far as the Atlantic goes, well, at least for the ACC, obviously I'm going to go with Clemson. I think everybody should absolutely go that route. As far as the other one goes, I kind of feel like Miami is due. You know, I hear a lot of people about Virginia Tech. I hear a lot of people say North Carolina. I don't know. I think Miami might be one of those sneaky teams that nobody's talking about right now. And look, a couple of years ago, they made a huge run to the ACC final and only lost to Clemson, got destroyed. But I don't know. I kind of feel like this could be their year. So I feel like it's going to be Miami and I feel like this time it's going to be Miami and Clemson at the end, battling it out for the ACC crown. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
All right, and next up, we're going to go with the Big Ten, the conference that MF and Bullock hold very near and dear to their hearts, of course. And get my notes up here. Okay. 2 divisions as well. Those divisions are the Big Ten East and the Big Ten West. And Ohio State has won the last 4 Big Ten titles. Can anyone take their crown? Or will the Buckeyes claim the throne for the 5th straight year? COVID played a key role in the 2020 college football season, and there probably wasn't a conference that was affected by it more than the Big Ten. From almost not having a season to having their conference winner finish the regular season with just 5 games played. But all of that is behind us now for the most part, and we can hopefully have a normal and full season of football. But with everything going back to the way it was pre-pandemic, what should we expect from the Big Ten Conference in 2021? Well, the Ohio State Buckeyes are the clear-cut favorite, as they are not only the reigning Big Ten champion, but the 4-time reigning conference champion. And despite the loss of quarterback Justin Fields, the Buckeyes should not miss a beat on offense, as C.J. Stroud steps in to take the keys of Ohio State's high-scoring offense. And following close behind the Buckeyes in the East Division are Penn State and Indiana. As far as the North is as far as the West Division is concerned, Northwestern has been at the top of the division 2 of the last 3 seasons, but in that middle season, they were at the very bottom. So the question stands, can they maintain consistency, or will they slip down in the standings again? Following behind the Wildcats are the usual teams, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota. Last season, Wisconsin finished just a game above 500, but shouldn't repeat that this time around. Iowa was, well, they were Iowa. You know, you never really know what you're going to get from the Hawkeyes until the season starts to play out. And then there's Minnesota. In 2019, everyone was rowing the Golden Gophers boat, but 2020 humbled Minnesota and its fan base, making 2021 a make-or-break year for them. You also have Nebraska, who just have not been able to find their footing in the Big Ten and are starting to become a failed state. And then you have Illinois and Purdue, 2 schools that showed flashes of brilliance from time to time, but never seemed to be able to put it all together. So with that being said, for the Big Ten Eastern Division, I have Ohio State winning that, of course. I got Penn State finishing 2nd, Indiana 3rd, Maryland 4th, Michigan 5th, Michigan State 6th, and Rutgers last. And in the West, I'm going with Wisconsin to win the West, Iowa 2nd, Minnesota 3rd, Northwestern 4th, Nebraska 5th, Purdue 6th, and Illinois last. So I got Ohio State and Wisconsin winning the Big Ten divisions. So with that, I'm going to give it to Mr. Big Ten. MF, your conference, is it going to be status quo, or are we going to see some surprises this time?
It's going to be status quo. Ohio State should win on the east side, and I'm with Wisconsin on the west. I kind of feel like Indiana's going to be the big surprise. I could see them going second in the east, and then Iowa will probably be the second place team as well. So, no, there's not really much of a big surprise here, so there's really nothing more to add. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on this one. I basically got Ohio State winning the East. I just can't see them losing this division. Basically, I mean, they're still going to be the kings of it. I just don't see how Michigan can catch up with them. And I'm going with Wisconsin as well when it comes to the other division. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
All right, next up is the Big 12. And there's not a separate, there aren't two separate divisions. It's all together. There are 10 teams. And MF, Big 12, is it going to be Oklahoma's to lose once again?
It probably will be, but this time around, there's a major bullseye on them. Boy, did they upset the apple cart over the offseason. Them and Texas are definitely not. Back in the day, about a year or so ago, everybody was all kumbaya. Now they want the Sooners dead. They want to destroy them. Iowa State is probably the best team right now that could probably win the Big 12, that could upend the juggernauts known as Oklahoma. That could be very interesting to see this year. Because I'll tell you, man, you want to talk about some major drama coming off. As many of you know, Oklahoma and Texas are possibly going to be leaving in the near future for the SEC. And boy, did that upset the apple cart, man. Cannons and the tiki torches and the pitchforks came out on this one, and they are mad. So, yeah. So this is going to be – there's going to be some wars this year. There's going to be some blood, especially in the Big 12. It's going to get ugly. But Oklahoma is the favorite. I think they'll win it. But if you want a team other than Oklahoma that I would probably rally around, Iowa State. I think the Cyclones got something to prove. And in this preseason and actually in the preseason poll, they're in the top 10. They're number 7 overall. So I think Iowa State is definitely going to have a good year. So this is a 2-horse race. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Who would you got winning both sides?
It's one whole conference. There's no separate divisions.
The whole conference. Oh, all right. Yeah. I'm with you on this one. I definitely got to go with Oklahoma to win the Big 12. I mean, I'm interested to see how this is going to go. So I really got nothing more to say. Once again, I got the Sooners winning the Big 12, and Florio, as I give it to you, I think we know someone else who we think is that Oklahoma's gonna win.
Yes, our dear friends Didi and Kevin Woodson, of course, and
of course when it comes to wrestling and
Ross, yes,
exactly.
So, anyways, conference realignment and major teams departing have thrown the Big 12 for a loop once again. Just as it happened about a decade ago, some key members of this conference have decided to move on. This time, however, it's the Big 12's biggest brands. Texas and Oklahoma will eventually be leaving for the SEC. And unfortunately for the Big 12 and its group of remaining members, that's the storyline that will dominate things as we head into this season. It's also likely to be the storyline that dominates things until the Longhorns and Sooners do leave, which could happen in 2025. However, we shouldn't let that be a complete and total distraction from the fact that the 2021 college football season is almost here. The Oklahoma Sooners are looking to compete for a national championship this year, and they're looking to be a much more complete team. Many of the best Oklahoma teams we've seen in recent seasons rely solely on their offense. This year's team could certainly be different. The Sooners are bringing back several starters, and defensive coordinator Alex Grinch has done well to develop this team since he's been there. So I do agree. I have Oklahoma winning the Big 12 as well. I have Iowa State finishing second. Oklahoma State finishes third. Texas fourth. Kansas State fifth. TCU sixth. West Virginia seventh. Texas Tech 8, Baylor 9, and in the basement, as they've always been, Kansas. So that's our story when it comes to the Big 12. Next up, we go from the Big 12 to the Pac-12, and we are back to the separate divisions here. And in the Pac-12, we have the North and South divisions. So before I give it to Michael Bullock, I want to make sure he knows who's in the divisions. In the Pac-12 North, in no particular order, you have Oregon, Washington, Cal, Stanford, Oregon State, and Washington State. That's the North. The South has USC, Utah, Arizona State, UCLA, Colorado, and Arizona. So with that, Michael Bullock, who do you like to win the Pac-12 North and the Pac-12 South?
All right. Well, sorry about that. Yeah, I just pulled it up. Yeah, to me, I mean, I got as far as the North goes, man, that's a tough one. I mean, you had Washington who took the North, and USC who took the South. I gotta go with USC here. I mean, I see them basically winning the South, and as far as the North goes, I think it's going to be a bounce back year for Oregon. So I got USC and Oregon when it comes to their respective divisions. So Florio, it is yours.
All right. The Pac-12 is looking to strengthen its reputation in what is shaping up to be a critical and defining year for college football. The key to it all, challenge for the college football playoff. There are a few teams in the conference capable of doing that. Unfortunately, those teams have tended to trip up at vital moments. I just want to see something here. Hold on. All right. Will the Pac-12 continue to cannibalize itself in 2021, or will the cream rise to the top and stay there? Starting with the North, I got Oregon. I got to go with Oregon to win the North. Oregon won the Pac-12 last year despite backing into the title game because of Washington's COVID-19 roster issues. They were dealing with their own upheaval with key players opting out of the campaign. So this season, they're better set up to assert their dominance with a promising offense and loaded defense. Washington could threaten Oregon, but the Ducks have proven themselves under coach Mario Cristobal. While Jimmy Lake's squad is more difficult to gauge, they should be great in the trenches, which is the best way to launch a serious challenge. The Huskies would have to grab hold of the Pac-12 North when they welcome Oregon to Seattle in November, and that's easier said than done. With their talent, the Ducks are kings in the North until proven otherwise. As far as the South is concerned, the South is a mess of potential and uncertainty. USC is the obvious choice to repeat as division champs. However, their offensive line should be a major worry without Aliha Vera Tucker to protect Keaton Slovis' blind side. Things could go very wrong very quickly for the Trojans. Things could just as easily play into their hands with a favorable schedule and their usual crop of gifted athletes. Despite questions around the Trojans, there are no clear choices to replace USC at the top of the standings. Arizona State is the offseason darling, but they just lost their best defensive lineman to injury and have recruiting violations unsettling their coaching staff. It'll be an uphill battle for this to be the year they break through. The Utah Utes will be good, but how good? The UCLA Bruins under Chip Kelly are another mystery. It's USC's division to lose. So in the North, I have Oregon finishing first, Washington second, Cal third, Stanford fourth, Oregon State fifth, Washington State last. And in the South, I have USC with Utah finishing second, Arizona State third, UCLA fourth, Colorado fifth, and Arizona last. So that's my story for the Pac-12. So MF, Pac-12, North and South, who do you like?
I'm gonna go. I kind of feel like it will be Oregon in one. I feel like the other one, maybe USC. I kind of feel like the Trojans have turned it around a little bit, and I really feel like this could be their moment. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with USC and Oregon to win. So yeah, Anthony, it's yours.
And now we move on to perhaps the most dominant conference in college football, the SEC. And I will start it off here. Two divisions, of course. They have the East Division and the West Division. Starting in the East, but before I do with that, following the conclusion of an odd 2020 season, several schools went out and brought in new coaching staffs to move forward, meaning there are plenty of new faces in the SEC. And on the note of new faces, plenty of attention this offseason has gone to the fact that the SEC will be expanding and adding a couple of new members in the somewhat near future. Both the Oklahoma Sooners and the Texas Longhorns expressed interest in making a move out of the Big 12, and the SEC welcomed them with open arms. The two will be in the SEC by 2025 unless they find a way out of their current contracts. But before all of that unfolds, there's actual football set to be played in the SEC. We're getting closer and closer to the start of the 2021 college football season, which means the focus will no longer be on conference realignment, but rather on what's happening on the field. So here's the SEC. Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs came close to winning the SEC East a season ago, but there will be no excuses for not winning this year. With Florida having to rebuild and Georgia quarterback JT Daniels having a full season to ride Todd Monken's offense, the Dogs should make it to Atlanta. As far as the West is concerned, Bama, Alabama is the best team in the SEC and could very well be the best team in the country again if first-year starting quarterback Bryce Young lives up to his prodigious hype. It's not unreasonable to expect the Crimson Tide to come out on top each and every season that Nick Saban is there. So as far as the SEC is concerned, in the East, I have Georgia winning the East. I got Florida finishing second, Kentucky finishing third, Missouri finishes fourth, Tennessee fifth, South Carolina sixth, and the usual basement dweller, Vanderbilt. And then in the West, I have, of course, Alabama. Texas A&M finishes second, Ole Miss third, Auburn fourth, LSU fifth, Mississippi State sixth, and to our dear friend State of Sorrel, I'm sorry, but Arkansas in the basement. So that's my story, SEC East and West. So MF, what are your thoughts on the most dominant conference in the game today?
No doubt about it, but there's only two, Georgia and Alabama. Everybody else, you just fall in line. Those are the two teams. They're the creme a la creme. I would not be surprised if we see these two one more time in the SEC championship game. I don't think there's anything more. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you guys have said. Especially with Alabama. Basically winning one division, and I agree with who he had coming out of the other division. But basically, you know what it's going to be all about. It's going to be all about Alabama and Florio. You know what that always means when it comes to Alabama. Whoever comes out of that division is just going to be
next victim.
Exactly. Move on.
And to wrap up our college football preview, Notre Dame and good old MF Michael Fletcher. How do you see, as we all know, Notre Dame this past season, what a magical season last season was, including winning what was hands down the college football game of the year, the 5-star Shakespearean drama classic against Clemson at Notre Dame Stadium.
Yep.
can Notre Dame have it? And they made the playoff, if I'm not mistaken. So.
Made the college football playoff, but I believe they ran into Clemson again, and Clemson got them good that second time around.
Big time revenge. So,
oh yeah.
So the big question for Notre Dame, is it going to be good news for myself and Derek Ferreira, or are you afraid you're going to have some bad news?
No, I think this is going to be good news. I actually think Notre Dame might actually have a threat again. I think they could make the playoffs. The first game is against Florida State, but Florida State is not what they used to be. So I think you're going to get a win there. You'll beat Toledo. Purdue's a little difficult. You never know what you're going to get, but I do believe you'll win in Notre Dame Stadium. The first loss might come in Wisconsin. So you'll lose Wisconsin. Then you got Cincinnati. That should be a win. Virginia Tech is another win. Then you get yourself into a very tricky 2-week schedule. One against USC, one against North Carolina. That could be the difference where you could either make the playoff or you're out altogether. Because SC, I think it's going to be a lot better. And by your admission, Florio, you got North Carolina coming out of the division to fight for the ACC title. So that could be your 2 games where that could make or break you. And then you got Navy, you should win that. Virginia, on the road at Virginia, you should win that. Last game of the season at Notre Dame Stadium against Georgia Tech, that's a win. And then Stanford at the end, that should be a win. So I got right now, maybe I got 1 guaranteed loss, but I'm on the fence on SC and UNC. USC and North Carolina, that could be your make or break moment. If you win those 2 games, you got 1 loss to your record. You're going to the playoffs. If you lose both games, that gives you 3 losses. It'll still be a good season, but not what you expected. So October 23rd and October 30th is going to be make or break for Notre Dame. That will tell you if you got yourself a playoff contender or if you're out altogether. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how Notre Dame does this season. Obviously, it's, to me, I mean, do I see them going to a bowl game? I would think so, but do I see them making the college football playoff? Man, that's just tough to say. I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be a good season for them, but as far as when it comes to overall, when it comes to making the college football playoff, I don't know. I just don't see that happening. So that's what I expect for them. So Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, the offense wasn't all that explosive under first-year offensive coordinator Tommy Rees, but that wasn't really the idea. It was efficient, effective, and it did a great job of controlling games and the clock. The Irish were among the best in the nation on third downs and time of possession, and at being consistent enough to find ways to keep things moving. They didn't turn the ball over a ton, relying on another great offensive line and the steady play of quarterback Ian Book to win. It might not have been the most explosive of attacks, but that was totally fine. The Irish were able to grind their way to wins again by maintaining control. There might be a ton of new parts to the mix this year, but the concepts and plans still hold. It all starts with getting the quarterback situation right. Wisconsin transfer Jack Cohen is almost certainly the main man for the starting quarterback gig. The veteran stepped in for the Badgers when then-starter Alex Hornibrook went down in 2018, and there were a few nice moments when the job was his in 2019. He had close to 70% of his passes for over 2,700 yards with 18 touchdowns and only 5 picks. Banged up to start the 2020 season, Graham Mertz showed he was ready, and now Cohen is in South Bend. Drew Pine is a smallish bomber with a little more mobility. He'll at least provide a bit of a push in fall camp. The receiving core loses top wideouts Javon McKinley and Ben Skronik, but Michael Mayer is one of the nation's top returning tight ends, coming off a 42-catch 450-yard, 2-touchdown season. Avery Davis is a good talent who should rise up into a bigger role after catching 24 passes for 322 yards and 2 TDs of his own. He's the one certainty in the wide receiver mix, but everything else is going to be a work in progress with Lawrence Keys and Braden Lenzy, 2 decent veterans in the rotation. The offensive front keeps on producing year after year, but it's going to be a grind for a little bit. Even the Irish won't be able to quickly replace Liam Eichenberg and Robert Hainsey at tackle and Aaron Banks and Tommy Kramer at guard. Jarrett Patterson is one of the team's best players for somewhere in the interior. He returns after missing time late in the year, hurt. Kane Madden comes in from Marshall to be at least a stopgap option at 1 tackle. And then it's up to the underclassmen. Star recruit Blake Fisher should be thrown to the Wolves right away at 1 tackle job, and fellow freshman Rocco Spindler might be too good to keep out of a starting job inside. Ultra quick back Kyron Williams led the team with 1,125 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns. Number 2 back Chris Tyree brings even more speed and flash. He averaged 6.8 yards a carry, and a few new recruits will see time early on. The backs have to do even more without an Ian Book-like runner at QB. So that's pretty much all I can say when it comes to them. As far as how I see it playing out, looking at this as far as the win projection goes, maybe about 10-3. I don't know. And I have to correct MF. That game is not at Wisconsin. Those two are playing a neutral site game at Soldier Field in Chicago. Notre Dame and Wisconsin. That's going to be a special big noon game on Fox on September 25th. So just wanted to let you know on that. Their best case scenario is 11-1. It's an absolutely brutal slate, but take each game on its own merits, and there isn't any one the Irish can't win. Wisconsin, Purdue, Cincinnati, at Virginia Tech, USC, North Carolina, at Virginia, at Stanford is way too tough a slate to get through cleanly. But if they're that good, they can get close. Worst case scenario, 8-4. It's an absolutely brutal slate. But take each game on its own merits, and yeesh, forgetting all of those other tough teams, what if Florida State is solid again? What if the Navy option works on the right day? And what if Toledo just so happens to be this year's power team from the group of 5? Would you be that shocked if the Irish lost to the Badgers, Tar Heels, Trojans, and dropped one other game? I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So I am a little concerned because, the best quarterback that they've had in a long time, Ian Book, I mean, he was a stud, let me tell you, and he was so fun to watch. And we had some seasons in the sun, but unfortunately, we just couldn't get over that hump. And but you never know. So, but anyways, let's get into the other big main event this evening, and that is the NFL season. And 2 weeks from tonight, on September 9th, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be opening defense of their Super Bowl championship when they open up at home at Raymond James Stadium, when they square off against the Dallas Cowboys. And, give me a minute here as I get my my notes ready here. So, all right. So, so with that, let's get into our first division. And we'll start with of course, we're going to start with what we feel is the best division in the game from our personal merits, the AFC East. And I want to throw in a little viewer discretion here. For me, if I were going to tell you guys that I was going to be impartial when it comes to this division, well, that would be a damn lie, because I am not going to be impartial on this. You already know where I'm going. And I am going to be such a homer on this. It's not even going to be funny. So, but before I get into that, let's start it off with Michael Bullock. And Michael Bullock, AFC East. Once upon a time, your team ran roughshod over that division because of some guy named TB12. But he's gone. And we all know who took over the reins last year, and they are heavily favored to do so again this year, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and well, let's be honest, Florio. I mean, last year was a difficult year for the Patriots because of. I mean, we're just not used to seeing this team the way they were. So, and that's why the Bills won that division. So, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, the Bills, what can you say about them? I mean, one game away from the Super Bowl and, of course, ran into Kansas City. What else is new? But, I mean, you still got a damn good defense, and you got a good offense led by, of course, the franchise, Josh Allen, and, of course, with the offensive weapons, especially in the receiving core of Stephon Diggs, and you got Cole Beasley, too. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how, and for the Miami Dolphins, I mean, what can they do under third-year coach Brian Flores? So, yeah, so as far as when it comes, yeah, I got the Buffalo Bills winning that division. I got the Miami Dolphins finishing second. I got the Patriots finishing in third place, and then of course the Jets. What else in last place? So nothing else to say, Florio. I think you should be high on your Buffalo Bills team again, but I think there's one little issue when it comes to the Bills, and of course it's COVID because one of your star receivers, obviously Cole Beasley. Well, he's been vocal on this whole thing, and I'm sure that's got you all riled up.
Yeah, it certainly does, and definitely kills my buzz a little bit. But despite this this nonsense here, which I hope will be water under the bridge soon, it's our division to lose. It's our division to lose here. I mean, especially coming off what happened last year. I mean, coming one game shy of the Super Bowl, the Buffalo Bills are in prime position to take that next step in 2021. With Tom Brady gone and the Patriots in rebuilding mode, the Bills stepped right into the void of AFC East favorite, and they looked the part in 2020. It's very easy to get behind a repeat performance in 2021. Josh Allen, top 5 in passer rating, touchdowns, and ESPN's QBR. But let's not also forget Bullock. Buffalo's offense remains largely unchanged. Emmanuel Sanders will replace John Brown, while Gabriel Davis should improve in his second season. Great news for a unit that finished 5th in offensive efficiency last year. On defense, GM Brandon Beane did a great job of retaining talent. Matt Milano, Levi Wallace, and Mario Addison, all players who could have signed elsewhere, are all returning. The Bills utilized the draft to bring in some reinforcements to keep the pass rush. First and second round picks Gregory Rousseau and Carlos Basham combined with AJ Epinesa to give them a young trio behind Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison. While the offseason may have been fairly quiet for the Bills, they're set to make plenty of noise in 2021. The schedule sets up for a hot start and a strong finish too. After going 7-1 at home last season, the Bills will open and close the season with 3 of 4 games at Highmark Stadium. So I have the Buffalo Bills winning the AFC East. And good news for you, MF. I not only have your Miami Dolphins finishing second, but I think your Miami Dolphins are good enough to get a wild card spot. I really do. So, but I have it the same way as Bullock does. Of course, I have my Buffalo Bills winning the AFC East. I can honestly say for the first time in a long time, I am beyond encouraged. I mean, last year going in, I was like, okay, they're definitely good enough to win the division. But I never thought in my wildest dreams that they were going to make it all the way to the AFC Championship game. If I had told you two if I had told the two of you guys that they were going to do that, both of you would have damn near jumped down my damn throat, and you would have ripped me, especially MF. But oh no, they proved everybody wrong, and oh boy, what could have been? What could have been if Cleveland beat Kansas City in that divisional game? What could have been? If Cleveland had won that game, Buffalo would have gone to the Super Bowl. No doubt about it. But anyways, I'm very, very optimistic. I'm very encouraged. And who knows? Maybe this could be the year they could be Cameron Grimes. They could go to the moon, and I'm hopeful this will be our moment. So, Buffalo Bills win the AFC East once again. Miami Dolphins finish second, and we'll get one of the 3 wild card spots. New England Patriots finishing third, and the New York Jets monkey butt ugly last. So, nothing more to say. And now, MF, I gotta ask you. Of course, I got my team winning the division, of course, but how did you like those words I just dropped on you? I think your Dolphins are not only going to finish second, but I think they're going to be good enough to get a wild card spot. What says you?
I mean, this is the year. This is it. It's a make-out year. It's a moment year. It's a breakout year for the Miami Dolphins more than anything else. Tua Tagovailoa needs to step up, and if you've been watching him in the preseason, he's been amazing up to this point. There's really nothing more for me to add, to say the very least. And that's everything that we kind of are hoping for. So, yeah. So, obviously, Buffalo division winners. Yes, I'll agree with everybody else. I think Buffalo is a very good team, and I think they got a great shot of doing it. Second, yes, Miami Dolphins. I think they'll be there. New England. All right. Here's the difference where I think, and I'm going to be real honest with you, Patriot fans, I think it's time for some harsh words. Cam Newton is not your guy. Mac Jones is. If Jones becomes the starter day one, I think New England has the team that, I hate to say it, Florio, they might be a threat for the AFC East crown. They would actually be a legitimate threat that they could ruin everything. And that dream of Buffalo winning the division will be just that, a pipe dream. Because I believe if Mac Jones is the starter, because of the way that he plays, I think New England goes back to number one and New England wins the division. But because I believe it'll be Cam Newton, New England will finish third. So I'm just giving you that word of warning, Florio. This is on the fact that if New England decides to put Mac Jones as the starter in week one, then everything changes in the AFC East. Everything changes in the AFC East. So that's how much respect I got for Mac Jones. And what I saw and what I've been seeing from Mac Jones personally makes me play very cautiously with this prediction. The Jets will be in dead last, but 1, 2, 3 could definitely change going in. So nothing more to say, Anthony. Next division.
And the next division is the AFC North, and I will start off on that one. And I don't have any qualms about this one either. I'm going with the Cleveland Browns. The beginning of the Browns Super Bowl window is officially open. General Manager Andrew Berry has spent all offseason giving Coach Kevin Stefanski everything he could need to build off the success of last year's 11-5 season. The Browns return every member of an offensive line rated as the NFL's best by Pro Football Focus. Left tackle Jedrick Willis Jr. should be even better this season in year 2. Factor in the return of Odell Beckham Jr. from a torn left ACL and the continuity of their first full off season under offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt, and Cleveland's offense should only get better. The real highlight of the offseason is what the Browns did with the defense. John Johnson III, Troy Hill, Anthony Walker, and Jadeveon Clowney provided upgrades at every level. Adding Greg Newsome II and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah through the draft completed the makeover. The new and improved athletic defense is crucial in a conference where Cleveland's primary competitors will be, in no particular order, the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, and their division foes, the Baltimore Ravens. Each of them has a dynamic quarterback that can make plays all over the field. Coach Stefanski's team is going to show last year was no fluke. And to prove that, I'm I'm going to pull the trigger, and I say they're going to win the AFC North. So for the AFC North, I have the Cleveland Browns winning the division. Right behind and getting the second of the 3 wildcard spots, the Baltimore Ravens. Pittsburgh Steelers finished third, and Cincinnati Bengals, of course, as the Bungles in last. So not much more to say. AFC North, MF, we're going to see those Cleveland Browns on opening week, and we're going to find out if this team really is for real.
Yeah, but there's also another team that was undefeated for 11 games that went down a downward spiral, crashed and burned, and lost to those said Browns last year. Their names were the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let me tell you, they are spitting mad. They know they let one get away. They know they should have been in the creme a la creme of the AFC. And to me, they are out for revenge. This is their revenge tour, and they are going to set some things right this upcoming season. I'm not completely sold on Cleveland, even though I do got them as one of the 2 playoff teams. I do not have them winning the AFC North. Pittsburgh wins again. Cleveland will be 2. Baltimore will be 3. And Cincy is 4. Bullock, is yours.
Yeah, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning the North as well. No doubt about it in my mind. Well, actually, no, not the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the Cleveland Browns when it comes to the North. After everything I saw from them, I mean, but when it comes to Pittsburgh, I got them finishing second as well. Yeah, and who knows? Maybe they could be one of the teams that competes for a wild card, but we'll wait and see. But overall, I got Cleveland winning the division. Nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
And the next division will be the AFC South. And MF, who's coming out of the South?
To me, it's Tennessee. The Tennessee Titans. I got Tennessee winning the division. I just feel like Tennessee right now is, without a doubt, I feel is one of the best teams out there. I just feel like Tennessee is definitely out for blood this time around. So I got Tennessee 1, Indy 2, Houston 3 just barely, and Jacksonville 4 because I think Jacksonville is a complete and utter mess. Tennessee will win the division. Indy will be second. Houston will be third by default. Bullock, is yours.
Yeah, I got Tennessee winning the South as well. I mean, yeah, after losing in the wild card, that they're gonna want to bounce back here. So I got Tennessee winning the division. And Florio, before I give it to you, I gotta get going, but I'll give you the rest of my division winners if that's okay with you.
Yes, of course, Bullet.
All right, I got Kansas City winning the AFC West.
Of course.
When it comes to the NFC East, man, that's a tough one. But part of me wants to go with Washington after what they went through, but I got to go with Dallas. I mean, I just think they're better. And then when it comes to the North, obviously I got to go with Green Bay. Obviously because of your boy Aaron Rodgers, and I think he's got a huge chip on his shoulder this season.
Absolutely.
When it comes to the South, obviously it's Tampa Bay, the defending Super Bowl champs. And when it comes to the West, it comes down to either Seattle or LA. I'm going to give the slight edge to LA, but I would not be surprised if Seattle wins that division. So,
all right.
Those are all my division winners. So, all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
All right, Bullock, we'll see you tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk at our new start time of 11 p.m. So All right. So Bullock is on his way out. So I believe that I will be. Well, actually, I got to give my thoughts on the South. I'm right there with MF. It is Tennessee. I mean, Ryan Tannehill and the Titans showed their 2019 breakout season was no fluke in 2020. They returned to the playoffs on the strength of an 11-5 season after 4 consecutive seasons of 9-7. They ultimately fell short in the playoffs, though. The Baltimore Ravens avenged their loss to the Titans the previous year after the Titans' run defense, which was 18th all season, was not able to stop the Ravens. GM John Robinson spent serious resources to ensure that doesn't happen again. They signed Nico Autry and Bud Dupree to beef up the defensive front. That will have to offset losses in other areas. Malcolm Butler, Adoree Jackson, and Desmond King are all gone at cornerback. Additions in rookie Caleb Farley, Janoris Jenkins, and Kevin Johnson will be relied upon. The offense will be tested as well. Jonnu Smith and Corey Davis provided Ryan Tannehill with depth in his offensive arsenal, but are both playing for new franchises. Beyond Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown, there aren't a lot of proven commodities on the roster. Still, that trio has earned enough respect that they shouldn't be written off. So I have the Tennessee Titans winning the AFC South. I have the Indianapolis Colts finishing second and getting the third and final wild card spot. Slight disagreement as far as the 3 and 4. I got Jacksonville finishing third. I got Houston finishing last. So that's all there is to say on that. So next up, we move on to our final division. That is in the AFC, and that is the AFC West. And with Bullock gone, I'll take it from here. So I think we all know it's the Kansas City Chiefs division to lose. Your back-to-back reigning, defending AFC champions, Patrick Mahomes, spent much of this past Super Bowl running for his life from the Tampa Bay pass rush. So general manager Brett Veach set out to collect offensive linemen like Thanos searching for Infinity Stones. After releasing Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher, the Chiefs traded for Orlando Brown Jr., signed Mike Remmers, Kyle Long, Austin Blythe, and Joe Thuney. Then they drafted Creed Humphrey, creating even more depth on the interior. Consider the gauntlet completed. The Chiefs now have an upgraded offensive line and more depth to avoid the situation that happened last season where injuries derailed their championship hopes. Losing Sammy Watkins hurts some of the skill position depth they have enjoyed over the years. However, as long as Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill are threatening defenses, Mahomes is good enough to figure out the rest. The defense isn't dominant, but it does return most of its key players. Assuming some of the younger players on the unit improve, so too should this team as a whole. So I have the Kansas City Chiefs once again winning the AFC West. I got the LA Chargers finishing second. And I definitely have them in that wild card mix, but I don't know if they're good enough. I mean, it's between them and Indy for that last wild card spot, I think. I was originally going to go with the Chargers because of the Carson Wentz thing, but I guess Carson Wentz is miraculously healed. So I think I might have to give the slight edge to Indy over the Chargers there. But the Chargers are going to be right there. And then I have Denver finishing third, and I got Vegas finishing fourth. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's the other way around. It's very tough to predict it, but that's how it is. So KC first, Chargers second, Denver third, Vegas fourth, MF the West.
Yeah, I got KC winning the division, no doubt about it. I say Chargers 2. I do say Raider. I actually got Denver 3 and Raiders 4. So that's mine. And off to the NFC East. I get where Michael Bullock was coming from when he said the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not sold on Dallas, though. I'm actually going to go on a limb here, and I'm actually going to surprise and say I think it's the Washington football team. I think with Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think with him, now as the quarterback, the stable quarterback you got, and they got some weapons. I think they're going to be good enough. And that division was a dumpster fire a year ago, and I don't think it gotten any better. So Washington wins the division. Dallas is in second. Philly will be third, and the Giants are last. Florio, go.
Sorry, MF. I got to go with Bullock on this one. I got to go with Dallas to win the division. Two things derailed a promising 2020 season for the Dallas Cowboys: injuries and a leaky defense that gave up 5.9 yards of play. The first aspect should be better. The offensive line was crushed by injuries, creating a scenario no team could have withstood. Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, and Lael Collins all missed serious time last season, but should be back this year. Most importantly, they'll have Dak Prescott back. The quarterback had his best season yet in 2019 and was on pace to put up big numbers again in 2020 before a compound fracture and dislocation of his right ankle ended his season. The defense remains a question, although Jerry Jones did a lot to address that side of the ball. The Cowboys hired Dan Quinn to replace Mike Nolan as defensive coordinator, made 2 value free agent signings in Keanu Neal and Terrell Basham, and then they went heavy on defense in the draft, using 8 of their 11 selections on defenders. That class was highlighted by Micah Parsons, who should give them highly productive linebacker play right away, but they'll also count on Kelvin Joseph to play a lot of snaps at cornerback after losing Chidobe Awuzie in free agency. Now healthy, the offense should once again be electric, which will help Dallas rebound from a 6-10 season. How much improvement there will be, though, depends on what Dan Quinn can get out of the defense. So as far as the division that MF and I like to jokingly call the Joe Buck and Troy Aikman division, I got the Dallas Cowboys winning the division. I have the Washington football team finishing second and getting one of the 3 NFC wildcard spots. I'm torn on Philly and the Giants. Right now, I'm leaning more towards the Giants, but then again, it could be Philly, but I don't know. But for now, based on my preseason notes, I'm going with the Giants 3rd and Philly 4th. But if it's the other way around, I wouldn't at all be surprised. So that's my story when it comes to the NFC East. Next up, it's the NFC North, and it's Green Bay. I mean, it's the Green Bay Packers. I think we all know the reasoning for that. We had that long national nightmare during the offseason with Aaron Rodgers and with the holdout and and that very scathing press conference that he had where he absolutely ripped the Packers. But at least, they got it done. They're scheduled for 5 primetime games with another on Christmas Day against the Cleveland Browns. As long as Aaron Rodgers is at the helm, the Packers are one of the best teams in the NFC. To wit, they've amassed a 126, 63-1 record with Rodgers as the starter. You can say they should have added a receiver. It would have probably helped assuage their star quarterback, but they were still the number 1 offense in the NFL last season with Devontae Adams and their collection of supposed misfit pass catchers. It's hard to say Green Bay will have as much success as it did in 2020, though. It didn't really do anything of note in free agency outside of retaining Aaron Jones, which made last year's selection of A.J. Dillon even more confusing. The best thing you can say about the Packers offseason is they didn't really lose much from the team that went 13-3 last season. Center Corey Linsley was the biggest loss, and the Packers directly addressed it in the draft with the selection of Josh Myers. So as far as the NFC North is concerned, or as the legendary Chris Berman always liked to call it, the NFC Norris, I got the Green Bay Packers winning it. I got the Minnesota Vikings finishing second and getting the second of the 3 NFC wildcard spots. I got the Chicago Bears finishing 3rd, and I got the Detroit Lions, despite getting Jared Goff, finishing bowling shoe ugly last. So there isn't much more to say on that. So MF, your thoughts on the Norris?
Packers win the division. Minnesota, I actually kind of disagree here. I think the Chicago Bears will be second. I got the Minnesota Vikings 3rd and the Detroit Lions 4th.
All right. Next up, NFC South. MF, as if we didn't know who's going to win this division.
It's gonna be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah,
they're gonna win the division. There's no doubt about it. I just feel like Tampa is just they're head and shoulders above the rest. I got New Orleans as number 2. I kind of feel like by default they're gonna be better. I just don't have much hope on the other 2. 3rd, I think, is Atlanta. I just think that they with Matt Ryan still as the quarterback, you still got Calvin Ridley. You still got some weapons there. And the Panthers, even though they got Christian McCaffrey, that's not enough. And I just don't see. They got Sam Darnold now as the starting quarterback, but is that really an upgrade? Not really.
No.
Sorry. So Tampa 1. In New Orleans 2, Atlanta 3, Carolina 4. Florio?
I agree. The more you think about the Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl in 2020, the scarier it is to think about what they can do in 2021. Last season, they brought in Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Brown, and Leonard Fournette, among others. In a season with no true offseason and no time to gel, they started a rookie tackle and relied on a rookie safety on defense. Head coach Bruce Arians' vertical system was not a natural fit for Brady. They had to figure out how to marry Brady's skill set and experience with Arians' philosophies. Despite all of those challenges, they still won it all. They've also found a way to fit every starter under the salary cap. In a league where continuity is huge, the Bucs are the first team to return all 22 starters on offense and defense from a Super Bowl team. The cost of that is there are a few additions who will make an impact. Giovanni Bernard is probably the best free agent they added. First-round pick Joe Tryon is more of a developmental pass rusher than immediate starter. Back-to-back championships are always hard. From a culture standpoint, it's difficult to keep the hunger that drives a championship team, but the Bucs have all the ingredients in place. Tampa Bay wins the NFC South. I do not have any wildcard teams coming out of this division. I have Tampa Bay as the lone representative of the South. And I'm right there with you. I have New Orleans finishing second. I have Atlanta finishing third. And I have Carolina finishing last. So our final division of the night, it is the NFC West. And you heard what Bullock said. He says that he was torn between Seattle and LA. He makes a great case and argument for LA, but until I see otherwise, I got to go with Seattle. Sometimes a quiet offseason is a good offseason. The Seattle Seahawks didn't do much, but they were able to ride the storm of rumors that Russell Wilson could be traded, and that was enough to keep them atop, and that's enough to keep them atop the rugged NFC West. The rift between the quarterback and the franchise reportedly stems to their inability to keep him upright. Wilson has absorbed plenty of punishment behind Seattle's offensive line. He's taken at least 40 sacks in every season except his rookie year. By comparison, the most Patrick Mahomes has been sacked in a season is 26. Seattle did trade for guard Gabe Jackson. He gave up 0 sacks on 1,062 snaps last season with the Vegas Raiders, but that may be fixing a leak in the Hoover Dam with a piece of chewing gum. Defensively, the team made some good, not great signings that should keep the unit afloat. Kerry Hyder will help with the pass rush, while Akello Witherspoon will ease the loss of Shaquille Griffin in free agency. So I have the Seattle Seahawks winning the NFC West. I have the Los Angeles Rams finishing second and getting the third and final NFC wildcard spot. Arizona Cardinals finished third, and San Francisco 49ers by default finished last. So MF, NFC West, taking home.
Yeah, this one's tough. But I'm actually going to go with Michael Bullock. I actually disagree with you, Anthony. I actually do have I got the Los Angeles Rams to win the division. I think what's going to happen is I think the Matthew Stafford trade is going to benefit. You already got an explosive defense with Aaron Donald, the defensive player of the year. Now that you got Matthew Stafford, who was really the heart and soul of the Detroit Lions, to move him to another team with all those weapons and for him to bomb it down deep, I think he's going to have a huge year, and that's going to be enough to win the division. Second, I'm actually going to go with the Arizona Cardinals. Have you seen what they have done in the offseason? Are you kidding me? J.J. Watt, you got one of the they kept their defense. That defense is underrated, and a lot of people are not keeping their eyes on them. Keep your eyes on Arizona. They're going to be a surprise team. They're going to the playoffs. 3 I got is the Seattle Seahawks, and that gives the San Francisco 49ers the dead last spot. So nothing more to say, Anthony. Let's call it a night.
Yes, sir, will do. And that will put the bow on this season finale of Strictly Sports. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in, not just tonight, but all regular season long, when it comes to these regulation shows. Now we're going to be getting into the bread and butter now. We're going to be getting into our busy season, which is the college football and NFL seasons. As you know, next week, 1 week from tonight, it will be the season premiere of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. And then mark your calendars for Saturday night, September 11th. Saturday, September 11th will be the season premiere of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. So very exciting to say the very least. And Yeah. So with that being said, we'll be back with you again tomorrow night at our brand new start time of 11 p.m. Eastern, immediately following AEW Rampage for the Cerebral Smack Talk, hosted by good old MF Michael Fletcher over on his channel, Brace Fan 95, as we will review both Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage. And in a special Mikey's Mindset, MF is going to set the table for the two huge NWA pay-per-views that are going to go down this weekend. NWA Empower, the first ever all-women's pay-per-view on Saturday night. And then the NWA 73 special, which will take place the following night, Sunday night. MF will set the table for all that. And that will be tomorrow night. And then from there, Monday night, we will have Ridiculously Raw, as right back here on the Tone 25, as we will run down Monday Night Raw, as well as my latest Tony's Take on Impact Wrestling and 205 Live. Wednesday, we got another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem as we run down NXT and AEW Dynamite. And then next Thursday night, the season premiere of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. 5 ranked versus ranked matchups. We'll definitely keep our eye on some other things, and we'll also set aside some time for MF to do his latest Big 3 basketball recap, as always, and there you have it. So that's next week. Cannot wait. Can't get here fast enough. So that'll do it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, at our new start time of 11 p.m. You've been watching the season finale of Strictly Sports right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one all season long. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching the season finale of Strictly Sports right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For now, it's been Floyo. So long. Bye, everybody. Bye.